welcome back to the Run with the Sun podcast. Andy Hansen here with Evan Ferrante, representing Cheetah Solar. Today, we're talking about some really important things. 5 things that you need to know before you go solar. First one, Evan, number 1, is each utility is different. Whether you live in New Jersey, Texas, California, Arizona, if you live across the street in a different utility, it's different than your neighbors. So what's the uniqueness of that, and why do they need to know?
It's just an important thing to know. Every city and state have different tax credits available. The utilities themselves might give rebates for certain things. They've got SRECs in the Northeast that they don't have out west or in the Southwest. So remember, when you go solar, usually if you're doing a grid-tied system, well, it's always going to be through your utility company. So whatever their parameters are, that's what you've got to work inside. So if you got a sister that lives out in Texas and she's got a program set up some way with her utility, don't expect to see the same thing here in Arizona and Phoenix, or up in North Dakota or something, right? They're all going to be different.
Exactly, and that's our job. It's not you as the customer and homeowner's job to understand how it works. That's what our energy advisors do. So we're the ones who have the knowledge, and we'd love to share it with you. All right, the second thing we're going to talk about is there's 5 qualifiers that go into getting solar.
Yep.
What are the 5 things?
So that's the thing here about this industry is that's the catch. Everybody always asks, what's the catch in solar? So this is it, and this is the catch, and this is an important thing to know before you look at getting signed up for solar. Besides being a homeowner and having your name on that utility bill, there are 5 things we look at. Is we got to get approval through the city or the homeowners association. That's the first thing. The second thing we look at is approval through the utility, like we were just talking about. Those utilities were grid-tied systems, so they get to kind of say how we can build these systems, if we can, if we can't, what the net billing, net metering situations might be. We do a shade report. So this one kind of stands out as obvious, right?
Yeah.
We're going to look at the roof of your home or wherever we're doing the install. Maybe it's a ground mount. We typically need to see at least 70% access to the sun year round on that to be able to do a project for you there. It's the only way it really makes sense economically. We always do a structural survey. That's really important. If you're looking at getting solar, make sure you're getting a structural survey. We carry 25-year penetration warranties. So the warranty we put on the roof for 25 years, we want to send an engineer out there to make sure that our installation, the integrity of that roof is going to hold up. We're going to have a solid install for 25 years. And then the last thing that we look at here is a credit score. So in most cases, we're going to want to see a credit score of 650 or above. These are all soft credit checks. They are not going to affect your credit. The people lending money for this don't really care about debt to income. They don't really care about bankruptcies or anything like that. They know you're already paying a utility bill, and they know if you switch over to a solar bill, that solar bill will be cheaper. So if you can pay your bills, they don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to pay this one. So those are the 5 that you need to qualify.
Yep, absolutely. All right, number 3, third thing we're going to talk about is that there's 3 ways to get solar. We have lease, we have loan, and we have cash. Which one is best?
Yeah, so it's gonna be different person to person. Each customer, each homeowner that we sit with, they're going to have different things that they're looking to achieve. One of the big things it's going to come down to is a tax appetite. When you do a cash purchase or a loan, you're taking ownership of a solar system. The big benefit in that right now is the federal tax credit. And so that's something we always check to make sure, do you qualify for that tax credit? We've got other videos on how the tax credit works. If you want to know more about that, check out some of our videos. But those are different. Products you get with a loan or cash purchase are going to be the same. You're just going to pay for them a little differently. And then you've got a lease, which has nothing to do with tax credits.
Yeah. It's you won't own the solar system if you choose a lease, but you have 25-year warranties on the entire system. So it's really no worry, no hassle, nothing you need to do. And you still have that low locked-in rate for 25 years. So it all depends on you, and that's what our energy advisors will discuss with you during your consultation is which one fits you financially, which one fits you personality-wise, and also, going back to those qualifying factors, we'll go through those as well. So lots of ways to get solar. Everyone can do it. Everyone can do it.
All right. All right, cool.
So the 4th thing that you need to know before you go solar, and the question we get a lot is, so am I only going to get one bill, and will I ever have to pay my utility again? Well, go ahead. I'll let you take this
Okay,
one.
Great question. It's really important to understand this. This is something all of our consultants in home will explain to you, and it's a big piece that goes along with this. Solar is not free. So you don't get solar and then just never have a bill again. If you paid cash for it, it could appear like that, right? Because you're not paying some kind of loan or lease payment every month for it. What you're doing with solar is you're replacing your electric bill with a new solar bill for the most part. So you will pay, it's usually cheaper, and we have other videos on this. It's usually about 25, 30% cheaper. It's a locked-in bill. But here's the thing on what we're talking about here. Will you ever get a bill from your utility provider again? And the answer to that is we don't know. You could. You have to remember that these solar systems are designed, they're power plants, and they're designed to produce a certain amount of power specific to your home and the amount of power you use in your house. If you use more power than what's produced by that, you will have to buy that power from somewhere else, that somewhere else being your utility company. So you could end up getting a bill from a utility company.
Yeah. And it goes to the last thing, the fifth thing that we're going to talk about is that when people get solar, they start using more energy. There's the appearance or the thought that I've got solar, I have unlimited energy now.
Right.
It's just not the case.
Right.
And you really are looking at purchasing your energy now on an annual basis. In the summertime, I'll use Arizona where we live at and primarily work. In the summertime, we use a lot more energy than we do in January and December. We can't go add panels in April and March, to prepare you for that. So along with the net metering, that will help. You're going to get bills in the summer sometimes because you're using more energy. But at the end of the year, when you start, when our panels are producing more energy than you're using in the fall and the cooler times of the year, you'll get those credits back. So, you're going to use more energy. So you could get bills from your utility company, but it's really, understanding that you're buying energy on an annual basis to see your true savings. All right, so the fourth thing that you need to know before you go solar is the answer to a question we hear all the time. So will I have my utility bill anymore? Does it go away? What happens?
Yeah, so this is a really good question. It's important to know the answer. All of our consultants explain this very thoroughly. When you get solar, the idea and the concept for us in most utilities that we work in is that we are replacing your current utility bill with a new solar bill that is cheaper than that utility bill. However, these solar systems are power plants. We're building them to produce a certain amount of power. It's custom for the homeowner. We're designing these specific for that home. If the homeowner, the person with that solar system, uses more power than that system produces, they will have to buy that power from somewhere else. Okay. That's being grid tied. They'll use it from their utility. So there is a chance that you could still get a bill from your utility company. We do everything we can to prevent that from happening. We also do everything we can to explain why in certain situations that would be a factor in that system design. Yeah. So on that, though, let's talk about increased usage.
Yeah, 26% of homeowners use more energy in their homes after getting solar. And if you look at how we get solar, we look at your past 12 months usage, and we base it off that to prepare you to get as close to zero on your, owing the utility as possible. If you increase your usage, your panels won't be able to produce more than what they can produce. They're kind of capped. So it's important to understand that, at its core, a solar system is a machine that produces power, and depending on the size of that machine, it produces, that much power. You can't add and take away panels at different times of the year, depending on when you use the most energy.
Yeah, and to clarify on that too, these solar systems, just because you get solar doesn't mean your home is going to use more power all of a sudden. That would be up to you, the user of the power in your home. Solar as itself doesn't make you use more electricity, which is a common misconception.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe not common, but it's something I've run into. So we put it up like Andy's saying. It's a custom system built to produce a certain amount of power for that home. If that homeowner decides they're going to use more power, which happens 26% of the time, they say, well, we have solar. They think it's just unlimited. It's not unlimited. And if you use power like that, you will have to buy that extra power from somewhere else, the utility, so you get a bill from them.
Yep, exactly. All right, so the fifth thing that you need to know before going solar is about how long does it take from the time you sign and say, I'm all in, until it's producing energy on your roof.
Yep. So you can't call us up and say, hey, I want solar right now, and we're going to drive out with a truck and just do a solar installation right that day. I tell my customers it's about 60 to 90 days. That's kind of a rule of thumb. 90 is pushing it a little bit. But I really like to under promise and over deliver.
Yeah, absolutely. And And the other answer to that is it depends, which is like the worst answer ever. Because each city, each county, each state has different times for permitting. And you'll hear solar companies say, hey, we'll get your solar installed in 30 days. They forgot to tell you that they're installing on your home without an approved permit with your city. That can cause some issues. So you want to make sure they're doing it correctly. And doing it correctly, in some cities, we've had installs in as few as 3 weeks. We've had some that have taken 4 months because of permits in the city of Phoenix, which are really a long time right now. So it does depend, but we will be with you, be there with you every step of the way, educating you, teaching you, and showing you what step we're on in that process. And of course, our main goal is to get that completed as soon as possible.
And then how long does the actual installation itself take?
A couple hours. Unless you have a massive system, and our install crew will arrive in the morning around 7 a.m. and they'll be leaving your property by 12 o'clock, 1. So it's really not a long process to install the panels. It's all the things that we're doing behind the scenes to get to that date. So that's usually what takes the longest amount of time.
Cool. All right.
Thanks for listening to us, guys. We appreciate you taking the time to learn about 5 questions you need to ask before going solar. Please let us know how we can help you. Give us a call today, send us an email, go to our website, check us out on social media. Whatever you can, let us know how we can help.
Sounds good to me. Peace.
Hey everyone, this is Andy Hansen. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen. Be sure to subscribe to the Run with the Sun podcast. You can find us on Apple, Google Play, and Spotify. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to hear all of the latest content. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and lastly, go to our website, cheetahsolar.co, so you can subscribe to our monthly newsletter for all things solar. Thanks again for listening.